Hi, and welcome to the History of Love Letter, the popular game by Seiji Kanai. At the Tokyo Game Market in 2010, there was a special challenge to design a game for an extremely low price of 500 yen, which is about $5, a bit more. And the printer had a special low-cost service for printing a set of 16 cards. And Seiji Kanai made use of that and created RR. That's 2 times the letter R, which stands for regality and religion. In his game, every player had a set of 7 cards. Both sets are identical except for the colors and the names, because one of them stands for regality and the other one for religion. And it's a 2-player perfect information area majority game in which you fill in a 3x3 grid. The starting player gets the neutral citizen card, and then most cards do either of 2 things. Either they destroy a card, which turns them face down, and the next turn they would be removed from the game, or they might turn cards around, so to turn their allegiance, because when 9 cards have been filled in the grid, the person who has most cards facing them wins the game. So that was RR. And also in 2010, Seiji Kanai, together with Hayato Kisaragi, created RRR. That's 3 times the letter R. Stands for Regality versus Religion Revolution, which includes RR, but also includes further neutral cards. So that was then 32 cards altogether. And Seiji Kanai really liked this concept of creating a low-cost game with just 16 cards. So although the challenge didn't exist anymore, at the Tokyo Game Market 2011, he published R, which is based on a similar concept. Is still creating a small game. So R, just the one letter R, stands for regality. It's also called R Rivals or BraveRats. There's still 2 sets of 8 cards. It's a 2-player game. Simultaneous action selection, a bit like war, because of the 8 cards are numbered from 0 to 7. You select one of the 2 and play it, and then you show them simultaneously, and the one with a higher card wins the round, although lots of these cards have different effects, and that might mean it's not the highest card but a different card, or something is put on hold and decided later. So yeah, Seiji Kanai was dissatisfied that all the games he could come up with so far were only for 2 players, and he really wanted to create a game that plays more than 2 players, so he created Love Letter. He came up with this amazing core mechanic that, everyone starts with 1 card in hand, you draw a card, and then you play one of the 2. And then because there are only 16 cards, he knew that a lot of the cards need to have some effect that eliminates some players. Otherwise it would be a shorter game. So when he presented this at the Tokyo Game Market in 2012, it was an immediate success, and AEG bought the rights to Love Letter, and their version is very nearly the same version, as in, well, they changed the design and they changed the names, but they only changed one single card, as in the effect. They changed that a bit. Otherwise, it's still just 16 cards and 8 characters. And then Love Letter just exploded in popularity. So millions of copies were sold in 28 languages. This year, 2022, is its 10th birthday, and there was at least one new version every year. So here there are 30 official versions so far, and these are all the princesses of them, which is really amazing. And because it's so easy to retheme, because there are only 16 cards, there are dozens of fan-made versions. Probably over 100, I assume. Yeah. And this whole thing started the microgame craze. So everyone started to make their own game based on 16 cards or 18 cards, or generally just try to make really small games. But none of the games that I know of anyway, but none of the games was able to follow the success of Love Letter. Love Letter is still the most successful microgame game. Yeah, so Seiji Kanai stayed in the microgame business basically and tried to come up with others that are actually connected to Love Letter. So in 2013, he and Hayato Kisaragi came up with Lost Legacy. Lost Legacy is 2 to 4 players, and variants go up to 6. And by the way, I forgot to mention, Love Letter also originally played 2 to 4 players, but variants go up to 5, 6, or even 8. So back to Lost Legacy. It's also 16 cards, but they have a different card distribution. The core mechanic is the same, so you still have a card in your hand and then draw a card and play a card. And one of the 2 win conditions is the same, as in if you're the last one left, you've won. But the other one is, while in Love Letter, if multiple people are left, the one with the highest number wins, but in Lost Legacy, the one with the lowest number can guess where the Lost Legacy is, which is the card where the number 5. And if they guess correctly, or whoever guesses correctly, then wins. There are some other differences, but yeah. Interesting also how the evolution of Lost Legacy is quite different to Love Letter. While Love Letter has this many different rethemes, Lost Legacy has different versions of the same game and the same theme, but then very different effects. So the first version came out with a second set, and there are, I think, 10, but then they also have a license you can buy, and you can basically create your own version, which is an interesting concept. So Lost Legacy is connected to Love Letter via the core mechanic, but 2 other games are connected via the theme and other things. So there is Love Letter to Lady Luck. The game itself is a 3 to 4 player game with bidding and resource management, and basically you have a castle. With the 4 player games, you put out 4 cards, and there are 2 phases in 8 rounds. So the first round you bid some tokens on the cards. So everyone ends up with 1 card, and then you have to decide if you want to use the card for the victory points or for the effect. And then the second phase is using those effects with the cards you have as these collaborator cards. So they all then interact with each other. thematically, it's connected because the king is annoyed by all the love letters, and he invites prospective suitors into the castle, so to meet the ladies in a more orderly fashion. It's a bit dodgy. Anyway, there's another connection to love letter though. This is the only game here that has 32 cards. All the others have 16, and with these 32 cards, you can also play a different game called Goita. It's a traditional game you can play. And the original love letter, the very first version, had a Goita feature. So around their number, it had different numbers of dots. And if you bought 2 sets of the very original love letter, you could also play Goita. So just interesting. And these characters here are the same as a different version of Love Letter that came in the same set. So Love Letter to Lady Luck so far only was published as part of a game compilation called Princess Wonder. And in there you find a different version of Love Letter. It's basically the same except that the characters are different. And interestingly, this Love Letter to Lady Luck has the same characters. Except all of them are in there twice. So you have 2 princesses and 2 wizards and nobles and so on, and knights. Yeah. So that was Love Letter to Lady Luck. And the last one in here is Secret Moon from 2014. There's also a thematic connection, because the princess got the love letter and escaped the castle to meet her admirer. The priestess is also helping her, and the minister got out of the castle and doesn't like this and wants to try to find her together with his 4 guards. So those are 8 cards. And then in addition to these cards, you have 8 further cards with just numbers on them, which are turn order cards, and they have some player help as well on them. So this is a 5 to 8 player game with hidden identities and social deduction. And the last tie to Love Letter is the design. I don't know if you've noticed, but this princess is the same as that princess, as in the original Love Letter. And then the same for the others. The minister is the same as that. And you also have guards are very similar. And priestess. Yeah. So that's Secret Moon. And that was the history of Love Letter. Thanks for watching.